Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Clare Champion Sports Chat podcast. Coming up this week, it's a mixed bag as we hear from Clare Senior Hurling Manager Brian Lohan. We hear about the latest initiative from the Clare Sports Partnership to get you up and moving, and how the East Clare hurling team of the last 40 years is going to be chosen. We'll start though with hurling and with Brian Lohan. I spoke to the Wolftones clubman, starting with his thoughts on the current situation that we're faced with.
It is strange times and tough times for everyone from all kind of perspectives. So, looking at fellas' family lives and looking at their business lives, and then what you're ringing me about it, the sporting life as well. So, it is strange times and they're tough times as well. Yeah.
Yeah, was it a big shock when that immediate lockdown came? I know you've been kind of, obviously you're in the throes of getting ready for what would have been leagues, knockout stages and stuff. So it all happened very suddenly.
It did, yeah. We were training in UL on the Tuesday night, and we have our gym sessions then on the Wednesday. And as it turns out, one of the guys that was on the panel was working in Dublin, and he was asked to self-isolate, not to do with him, but to do with a colleague up in there. So I was on to the public health officials myself there to see, was it in order for us to train on the Wednesday? But as it turns out, it was a false alarm and it was grand. We went through the whole process and we trained on the Wednesday, and then Wednesday evening, or maybe it was Thursday evening, we got the notification or came from Croke Park that all training had to cease. So that's what happened. All training ceased, and we haven't been back since collectively.
Yeah, and that's a difficult one to manage, isn't it? Because everybody understands the reasons why, and yet in the back of the head you'd be saying we have to keep lads ticking over. So I guess that's where this online thing and these Zoom meetings and all the individual programs, that's kind of been the focus, hasn't it?
Well, it has, yeah. I suppose when you're, there has been a serious amount of work done. We got together. Our first session was the 17th of November, and our lads trained very hard for since then with no stop. And the question was then, how are we going to try and maintain the lads to keep the fitness that they had, and at the same time you don't want them to be burning out, or you don't want to be doing too much. So I suppose we've been looking for information about the what was happening or what is going to be happening, and last weekend it looked like that we were aiming for July, and then this week now it has gone out to September, October, if there's going to be any matches at all. So that uncertainty that is there is challenging for everyone who's involved. So it's challenging for the GA, challenging for the players and management as well. So the uncertainty is the big challenge now.
Yeah, and what's your own thinking on it? I mean, you talk September, October, all it takes is a couple of more cases to kind of shut that out again, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's up in the air, and I think everyone appreciates that it isn't the call of the GA. There's a little bit of frustration there, but it's not the call of the GA. It's the public health officials that are making those calls, and they have all the information, and they're doing the right thing for the country at the moment. So, look, we just have to wait and see, and keep the lads ticking over as best as we can, so that if there is championship coming back, or that there is league matches coming back towards the latter end of the year, that we'll be in a position to that we'll be ready.
Yeah. What would be your ideal scenario? I mean, in a format sense, are we looking at straight knockout?
Well, if we had straight knockout, we'd be like, the ideal scenario at the moment is to get some games, to get a championship. And if that can be facilitated, great. And the way it is at the moment, we'd take any kind of championship if we could get it. So if it was a straight knockout, we'd be happy with that. If it was a round robin, we'd be happy with that. But realistically, if it going to have a championship now, at the moment it would be a straight knockout. So we take that if we could.
Yeah, and what's your thinking on this behind closed doors notion?
Yeah, again, I'd be thinking the exact same way. If we can get a championship and it's behind closed doors, it's not ideal, but we take that. We take that all day long. So long as you would be in there would be a mechanism to ensure the safety of the players and the officials that would be involved in it. So that would be, obviously that is paramount to everyone's thinking.
Yeah, I think there's a train of thought out there as well that, every effort be made to from the supporters' point of view, to either stream them through various other channels or for as many games as possible to be televised, because I think I heard someone say during the week if there was a Junior C Challenge game in the morning to be the biggest crowd of the year, there's that savage hunger there now for people to get back seeing live sport.
Yeah, well, it was. I was talking to one of the journalists there a couple of weeks ago, and he reminded me that after the foot and mouth back in 2001, that there was the first match after that foot and mouth was a league game between Clare and Limerick. Inside in the Gaelic grounds on a Thursday night. I think it was a Thursday night, it would have been a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, but there was 17,000 people at it. So there is you can see that there is a massive appetite from supporters, players, everyone to try and get back on the field. But obviously, we have to be conscious of public health advice, and that's what we will be conscious of.
Yeah, has this affected you much in a professional sense? I mean, things have obviously slowed down to a near halt, have they?
Yes, well, look, my business is financial services and property services. So financial services would be considered essential. Then the property services, not so much so, but like a lot of businesses, there's areas that it is essential. So, if someone is requesting you to do a valuation on a property and their mortgage is dependent on that valuation or that work that you are doing, you have to try and help them out as best you can. Whereas, really, it wouldn't be an essential service, but at the same time, it's essential for the guy who's taking out the mortgage, or likewise when they're buying a house, that's essential for them as well. So, I suppose when decisions are made from government and they're made so quickly, what the actual definition of an essential service, it can be different depending on what side you're looking at it. So, we have to take that into account, and we have been working. We've been obeying the social distancing rules, and we have been travelling, but only really for essential services.
Yeah, and I guess you'll be well placed in to kind of guess that. I suppose, will we need to see things gradually kicking back into gear? I mean, can the economy cope with being closed down insofar as it is for much longer?
Look, I'm no expert on the economy, but from my own perspective, we really do need to. We need to see some of the restrictions lifted. I think you don't need to be a genius to figure out that keeping 1 million people on social welfare just on a population of 4 million is just too many people on social welfare. Like, it just can't be affordable. That's just not affordable. So we need to get people back to work, and it's a tough call for any of the people that are in power at the moment. Between making the decision to go back to work and making sure that decision, if it's made, is conscious of public health, and that fellas are protected, and that they're safe. So look, that's a tough decision. decision for the politicians or the public health officials that will be making that decision. But I think we need to get more people back to work sooner rather than later.
That's the thoughts of Clare Senior Hurling Manager Brian Lohan there. Well, there's a new initiative underway at the moment for the Clare Sports Partnership. It's spearheaded by Clare native Pat Sexton. He told me how the idea came about.
To be totally honest, when I be over at home, I've seen people, neighbours all around walking that you'd never see out on the road, and there just seemed to be an increase in people walking, to be honest about it. So, and from talking to one or two of the neighbours that you'd meet on the road, they're born to walk on the same road. So it's just something to, bring it on a small bit and encourage them to maybe pick up the pace and have a little bit of an extra challenge or something while they are going out trying to get a bit of fresh air daily or something like that.
Yeah, give us the basics of it.
So he's an 8-week program. He's your standard based on a close to 5k, but we're working up as far as 3k. So it's 8 weeks, and we have 3 sessions weekly. Podcast. So I physically do the program myself, and I record myself doing it, and then I send it out to everybody that has registered. And the beauty of it is they can complete it any time during the day that they choose. So it is all about fitting into their schedule and what they're doing, whether it's work or kids or family life or whatever. And the other thing that's really coming out of it is when you're doing it on your own, that you're competing with yourself basically. So your traditional close to 5k program, you would have maybe 20 or 30 people at a time, and you'd always have a couple of reliables down the back that would be saying, "Jesus, this is not for me. I can't keep up with the people up the front." Get disheartened and you lose them. Whereas this one, so far the feedback we're getting is great, and people are getting a workout out of it.
Yeah, and I suppose the big thing you mentioned it there, do you find that people kind of respond better to a structured thing rather than someone just taking to the roads and kind of not knowing how long they should do the first day or what their ultimate aim should be?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a good few sports partnerships around the country that would have given out the program, we'll say, in paper form, and basically away you go. Whereas this one, there's a little bit more kind of accountability in it. And I'm basing it on time, so I'll tell you when to start jogging, I'll tell you when to stop and continue your walk again. Whereas others have done it in, we'll say, measurement. So they'll run for 500 or jog for 500 metres or something like that. Whereas my 500 metres and your 500 metres could be totally different, that kind of way. So and it's all about getting people some bit motivated to get out and get active. The HSE has been kind of saying the last, couple of weeks that the people that were used of doing their 5Ks are gone back to the couch. So it's a reverse of the couch to 5K, and this was a nice little target to get people. It's totally beginners program. There's people, we've had feedback back from people that have said that walking isn't or jogging isn't their thing, but have completed day 1 and day 2. And it was so doable. So, this is the kind of feedback we've received so far.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask about the target group. This is aimed at those that are kind of starting from scratch, is it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the people that possibly could be walking they're 30 minutes a couple of times a week. Some people can walk for miles, but when you increase the intensity to a jog, you're putting extra extra pressure on them, I suppose, and extra intensity, and I suppose the faster you run, the less running you have to do, to be honest about it, to get the same benefits of the workout.
And I suppose ultimately, when all this is over, this is something that you'd probably hope that people maintain as a routine, is it?
No, absolutely. It's all about creating a habit and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Currently, there has been unbelievable praise for our frontline healthcare workers, and quite rightly so. And when this COVID-19, we'll say, ends, please God, sooner rather than later, should it not be up to each individual while we are spending more time at home to maintain our health, so further down the line that we're not actually entering the health service, and give those people and those workers quite deservedly a break when things get back to normal. just by us maintaining our health and doing our bit. Like, we can only look after ourselves, and that's probably one of the most important things.
That's Corman Pat Sexton there of the Clare Sports Partnership, and you can head to their website claresports.ie if you want to register for that programme. Finally tonight we're going back to hurling, where the big talk in East Clare over the last couple of weeks has been trying to pick the best team of the last 40 years. Certainly not an easy task, with an amount of people that you could put in or out, and, well, I guess there's no right answer to it. It's all spearheaded by the Scariff Bay Community Radio Sports Department. Leo Doyle is one of their main men, and he spoke to me to outline the details.
We had queries from a few people that our sports department had kind of gone off the air at the time of the COVID-19. You know, so, as you well know, there's very little sport, there's no sports event going on, so we saw a couple of people had said to us, why don't you put out a teaser on something, and we took one or two ideas from people, especially one was a well-known businessman in Scariff, and he said he came up with, sure, why don't you get him to pick a certain team or whatever, right? So we put our thinking caps on anyway in the sports department, and we said, you know, one thing that's never really touched is the clubs, and we went through the different clubs, and we had seen that no one had ever picked a team going back. No, they would, I suppose, at home and in pubs and in different places, they'd be picking teams all the time. So we said we'd put it to the test, and we sent out feelers, and there seemed to be a bit of interest. And so we picked the competition. We set up the competition that's from 1980 to 2020 for the 10 clubs in the Scariff Bay Community Radio catchment area. They picked their best team going back over there from 1980 to 2020.
And is it exclusively club players, or is it nearly an O'Gorman Cup whereby if you've worn the county jersey you're out of eligibility?
No, Derek, it's the full thing. Anyone that plays, obviously you have to play a championship for your club, so you have to play a senior championship or the top grade in your club anytime between 1980 and 2020 to be eligible. So. And what we have done is as well that, you know, you'll often find people might send in some players where maybe for the left or whatever. Like we have a couple of people involved that will look at the teams as they come in, and anyone that's kind of, you know, in under false pretenses, they'll be taken out. But it's sent out to the people, all to the different clubs. Anyone can vote, and in your own club, and there's a separate email for each club to send the votes back to at scariffbayradio.com. So the club name is first, and from that in, that's up on the 1st of May when all those 10 clubs have 10 teams are in. We'll go through the votes, and we'll pick the teams accordingly, and then we're sending out. We'll send out all the teams where everyone can see them, and then you pick your East Clare team from those players. From 1980 to 2020, but there's one proviso with the East Clare team that there has to be at least one player from each of the 10 clubs in your 15.
Okay, so you're whittling down, 40 years to 150 initially, and then you're looking to narrow that down again to 15. Big task.
Yeah, it's a big task, but I suppose, you know, it is. Initially the idea, of course, Derek, is, you know, is to get people talking and get people debating. You know, there's a lot of people may not be interested in watching television or whatever, you know, and, you know, get people talking that maybe wouldn't be in contact with some people, and, you know, maybe get them where there's a general interest. And, you know, as always, Derek, you know, at the end of the day, GA is a massive community, and it brings people together, and we're hoping that by our initiative that will bring the East Clare community closer together. Look, I know it will set up contentious debates, but really that's what it's all about, is to get people talking and, you know, get them to have something to focus on and to think about other than what the crisis that's going on at the moment.
Absolutely. And just for the record that we have, the 10 clubs are?
Right, we'll start with down. We have Whitegate, you have Scariff, Killanena, Feakle, Bodyke, Tulla, O'Callaghan's Mills, Crawford, O'Gonolo and Smith O'Brien's.
Okay, and just as you name out those clubs, there'll be players jumping into your head. I mean, it's there's quite a number.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it with the East Clare team, and, you know, especially even going back there to the early 80s, like Clare were in the 1981 Munster final, and, you know, there's a lot of players from East Clare. You go back, you have Jellock Nairn, you Sean Hare would have been part of that. Then you go on, say, to the 84 when you won the Rocktas, and John Minogue, who was the manager of the Clare 21 team when they won in 2009, he captained Clare to 2 Rocktas titles. You come along, you have Dennis Curry from Tulla in goals. The team, all these Clare teams would have been competitive in their own time, maybe not necessarily all at the one time.
Absolutely. Just to get an idea sort of structurally of how the voting goes, is it the clubs themselves that nominate the initial 15 from their side of things, is it?
The clubs can pick their own. First of all, they pick their own club teams, and obviously they're voting for their own club in that. And once the names come into the sports department of Scariff Bay Radio, we'll count up the votes, and we have an independent assessor who will be watching the votes, and we'll be going up. We'll be rechecking the count afterwards to see everything is done above board. And then once those teams are picked, Derek, they will be sent out, put up on the different sites for the 10 clubs to see them. And then when you're picking your East Clare team, we'll be hoping that all the people would vote again. But you cannot vote for anyone from your own club. You can only vote for the other 9 clubs. So, they take, for example, here in Bodyke, we can't vote for any players in the Bodyke club to be on the East Clare team. You can only vote for the other 9. And again, the proviso is there, Derek, as it is community-based, that there has to be at least one representative from each of the 10 clubs on your 15.
So clubs will promote it and the public can vote from there, correct?
That's it. And, obviously, when the votes come in, then you'll be hoping that the people will vote their positions as close to the position that people played in. But there is a committee in place that will oversee the final vote when they come in, and, we'll probably pick the team. We'll help pick the team if a number of players are close in votes and in the same position, they should have to fit them in. So there is a committee, an independent committee in place there to start out all that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, more details on the Scariff Bay website.
Yeah, and they're up on the Scariff Bay Facebook as well. And all the clubs have been notified, and in fairness, they've been very good to publicise it, at this time. So look at Derek, it has got people talking. The sports that happened in Scariff Bay, it's all voluntary, and it's run, the station's run by Jim Collins, and look at those great help there from Pat McNamara and Brendan Foley and Marie McGann and St. Joseph's, their camogie expertise, one of our independent assessors, and you have the likes of Denny Chaplin from Bradford and Raymond Nelson from Fecal, Tony O'Brien also, who was involved with Bradford last year, they all help out. So Patsy from St. Joseph's is another one that will help out. So look at, it's got to get people Jimkin, and without all their help, we wouldn't be able to, voluntary help, we wouldn't be able to keep it going, So, look, it's a fun initiative, and at the end of the day, Derek, that's the main thing. It's not meant to be serious, it's meant to be fun, but you know yourself, when things start up, things can get competitive.
Absolutely, and what other way would you have it as Clareman, I suppose? Tell me a timeline on this, when will the big reveal be?
Yeah, the East Clare, the 10 teams for the East Clare have to be in by next Friday, the 1st of May. That's the conclusion for the 10 teams for East Clare, Derek. And we would hope to have the teams out then on the following Monday or Tuesday, and they have been until the following the 15th to have their East Clare team in, and we'll name it over that weekend then.
Excellent, and all that will be revealed on the Scariff Bay channels, I'd imagine.
On the Scariff Bay radio show on Saturday 16th of May, we would hope to be in a position, maybe, we'd have a fair idea, we hope to be in a position to name the team on that weekend.
Leo Doyle there from the Scariff Bay Community Radio sports team, and you can check out their website or their social media channels for more details on that. That's all we have on the Champion Sports Chat podcast for this week, but we do have a special Champion Sports Chat podcast extra coming out in 24 hours time on Friday evening. We'll be hearing from 2 of the Clare ladies football stars who are currently on the front line of COVID-19. Well worth tuning in for. I'll talk to you then.